Okay, let's get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Pippa Yates, and I'm co-founder here at Turn.io. Welcome to September Town Hall. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we've got a very exciting agenda for you today, and I am super lucky. I've just got back from a 2-week trip to India, and I might be 5 kgs heavier, but I'm also bursting with with energy from just being in the presence of both existing community members, but also meeting a whole lot of new community members, and just seeing in the flesh what the opportunity looks like in India. We will share a little bit around our trip and what we learned from being in country, but shout out to all the new faces here today. I see there's some new community members that were also with us in India. So welcome, big welcome. So today we've got an exciting lineup. We're going to take you through new community members, some news, and then we've got a special guest also from India. Divya is going to be from Pinky Promise, is going to be sharing her learnings and wisdom around what they're doing at their organization. So definitely stay tuned for that. And last but not least, the Turn product team will give you insight into what they've been working on, what new tools are available today, and what's coming up in the very near future to help you all scale your impact. And as you know, here at Turn, we want to power life improving conversations, and we can only do that in partnership with all of you. So I'm going to hand over first to Kanya, who's going to welcome all of our new community members.
Thank you very much, Pippa, and good to see you, actually. Good to see you in a while. Hi, everyone. Great to see everyone else joining the call today. As Pippa mentioned, mine is quite simple. I'm here to welcome these amazing organizations who've recently joined our community, which is always and ever expanding. So the first organization is Solax, which is working on an ambitious plan to provide fully free remote learning solution for every Afghan girl by providing a self-paced coursework accessible to girls who have access to basic internet and WhatsApp from the comfort of their own homes. We also have ODE, which is a global organization that is committed to providing innovative, scalable, and connected digital health solutions that expand access to equitable care worldwide. Now, ODE and Turn.io are aiming to collaborate to integrate ODE's machine learning models with Turn's conversational platform to serve organizations that aim to improve the health of vulnerable people. We also have the Maina Maila Foundation, which is a team that is providing health education, access to healthcare services, and products at everyone's doorstep. They aim to provide menstrual health products and services to 2 million women in India by 2025. They also want to provide employment and development opportunities for 100 women by the same 2025 as well. We also have an amazing organization in the LATAM region called Visao Corp, which is a civic laboratory that organizes cooperation networks and works on social, digital, and green technologies in Rio de Janeiro. They focus on building applications and dynamics in the outskirts of cities to promote the overcoming of social and environmental problems. We also have a South African organization called Genesis, which is a South African health organization centered around patient care advisory and support for cancer prevention, disease monitoring, and extending survivor support as well. And lastly, we have the Superior Electoral Court, which is the highest body of the Brazilian electoral justice. The court plays a fundamental role in the construction and exercise of Brazilian democracy. We are super excited to have these organizations join our community, and we are excited to see the work that they're going to be doing with Turn.io, and we look forward to supporting them on their journey of making an impact.
Thanks so much, Kanya. So welcome all those new community members. We wanted to next give you a little bit of a download on the WhatsApp Business Summit. So Gustav, Indrani, and myself were in Mumbai 2 weeks ago for the WhatsApp Business Summit in India. And this was an amazing event organized by Meta to showcase what the opportunity looks like for WhatsApp in India, but also to give us the new feature updates and exciting things that are in the pipeline for WhatsApp. And we really wanted to share that with you. I think as Turn, we're always committed to making sure that we're representing social impact organizations in our conversations with the team at WhatsApp, that they're hearing about social impact use cases as well as commercial use cases. And also to help figure out how best we can use their new tools in these social impact scenarios. So you can see from that photo on the right that one of the key messages that they wanted to drive across to all people and the Indian market in general was value-based messaging. Now, WhatsApp is obviously very protective over its user base. It's built its user base to billions by the fact that it's a safe space where you only get communications that you want. So there was really a strong message around creating value for your customers, making sure that what messages you're sending they really want to receive, that you're sending them at the time they want to receive them, that you're collecting opt-in, and that you're really driving a lot of value for your end users. So that messaging came through strong. I know all of us here in the social impact sector are already doing this by nature of the services we're trying to provide through the network. But it was a good reinforcement that WhatsApp is very much geared towards quality over quantity in the messaging space, which I think is unlike a lot of their competitors. But a couple of exciting updates I get on the product front. The one we're super excited about is calling is coming on the WhatsApp business platform. And I don't just mean that you as a business will be able to phone your users, potentially doing a follow-up or a health consultation or reaching out to someone who's really struggling. This will also involve the ability to create completely automated voice services. So think about what you can currently do on IVRS or automatic voice response systems, where you dial into a number and there's a robot on the other side triaging your call before you get to a human. All of these capabilities are going to be available on the WhatsApp business platform coming soon. And that is a super exciting opportunity for us to deliver higher quality care, to be able to reach out to those users and patients that potentially need extra support, to deliver high quality coaching, counseling, and maybe even telemedicine consultations. So huge potential here for all of you who are interested in a higher touch follow-up over calls. We're super excited about this, and I hope you are too. As soon as we have access and are able to take customers on board, we'll be reaching out to those who want to try this first. But it's a very exciting development, WhatsApp. And then secondly, it was very clear that they are focused on making it possible for a business or organization to run their entire business on WhatsApp. Everything from, you'll see this image on the right. So they talk about it being the entire messaging journey, right from the your user finding out about your service, either on Instagram or a Facebook ad. So they click to WhatsApp ads. They've been working very hard on optimizing the click-through rates and the conversion on their ad products to WhatsApp. And there are new types of ads that are coming out, which allows you to optimize your ads to either click to WhatsApp or click to a specific message or click to download a PDF or those types of things. So lots happening in the ad space and integrating the ads product more with WhatsApp. They also are now allowing you to send marketing messages from within the WhatsApp Ads Manager, which allows you to even further target and optimize your marketing messaging delivery for various types of conversions. So as we're creating learn articles about how to do this more, we'll definitely be sharing more, but it's a key advancement from the WhatsApp team. And then last but not least, definitely a focus on payments and enabling payment systems. Obviously, a lot of us are depending payments for consultations or coaching, or potentially even subscriptions. That is a huge opportunity there. I also had a conversation with their payments team about when they're going to allow us to pay out through WhatsApp. So use cases like social grants. So we made sure we put that on the radar for them for their upcoming roadmap. So we'll see where that goes. But that's a kind of a snapshot overview of what was going on at the WhatsApp Business Summit. We'll obviously be sharing more as we go forward, but a lot of advancements and excitement around new things that are up and coming, as well as the opportunity in India and more globally. I'm going to hand over to Indrani to say some more news.
Well, it was not all work. The WhatsApp Business Summit obviously gave us a lot of learnings, but the team managed to come together, which was amazing. We had both Gus and Pippa for almost 2 weeks with us. So such a privilege. And also almost went on a great roadshow from Mumbai to Delhi and then back to Mumbai. So we spent some quality time understanding, planning the strategy for India and the APAC region. And also, like I mentioned, some really exciting meetings with some of our existing clients, deepening relationships, talking to them about what their big goals are for the next coming years and how we can help support them. And of course, got to spend some good quality time with the team. It was not all work, a lot of fun as well. And then all of that culminating on Friday last week with the Scaling Impact with WhatsApp and Meta AI workshop. We had close to 40 organizations and a lot of very excited impact organizations across health, education, economic empowerment, agriculture, livelihoods, you name it. And it was really an amazing platform for so many of these organizations to come in and learn what's possible through Meta AI and WhatsApp. Many of them starting with their journey and were very interested to learn on these platforms. And I think what we ended up managing to do is bring together people who are already doing something new and creating this community and growing this community, which is what we're most excited about. We had a roundtable. We also had, with some of our existing clients in health. So we had Arman, we had Noura Health, we had Pinky Promise, and we also had Abdul Haider, all the way from Darsal. He traveled down to make that, and Arzan Singh Purwala, the head of partnerships, who also kind of echoed on Meta's, goals for this year and how they're looking to help and support the impact organizations through the different features. With that, I'm going to hand over back to Pippa for the community use case.
Thanks, Indrani. So I get the privilege today to introduce you to Divya Balaji Kamakar, who's the visionary co-founder of Pinky Promise, an AI-driven platform transforming women's healthcare in India. With degrees from Yale in global health and evolutionary biology, and an MBA from Wharton, Divya has over 15 years of hands-on experience in global health and strategic consulting. She has worked with organizations like the Delhi Commission for Women and the Bridgespan Group, advocating for women's safety and healthcare access. Today at Pinky Promise, she provides instant and affordable diagnoses for reproductive health issues in India. So a very warm welcome to Divya. Welcome to Town Hall, and thanks so much for joining us today. I'd love you to tell us a little bit around Pinky Promise and more about what you do.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me today. It's such an international audience. So, total privilege for me to address you all and tell you a little bit about what we're doing at Pinky Promise, Pippa. So in terms of what we do, Pinky Promise is an instant clinic for women's sexual and reproductive health. We've built our custom software that is able to actually screen a woman for all her symptoms and medical history and connect her to a qualified gynecologist in minutes, who's then able to sort of have a conversation with her on chat, diagnose her and give her a prescription all instantly. So imagine, you have a particular symptom, you come to Pinky Promise, you are able to immediately connect with a gynecologist anytime, anywhere. So 24/7, describe your symptoms and medical history to her and know what care you need to take in a matter of minutes and continue to stay in touch with her and chat with her till you're better. This is in essence what Pinky Promise is. We've custom trained our own AI models to be able to do this. And we have today a focus on women in India, but we're very quickly already catering to an international audience.
Amazing, Divya. I mean, just from my perspective, I would love it if the service was available near me. I think that this is globally really relevant. But will you talk a little bit about the scale of the problem in India specifically, because it's obviously such an enormous market, and these services aren't available to most women.
Absolutely, and as you can see in the screen out here, the reality is that in India, at any given point of time, we have 280 million women of reproductive age who actually require some sort of gynecological care for their sexual and reproductive health care conditions. But the truth is, like me, most of us actually prefer not to see a gynecologist. There are lots of issues that is resulting in this 92% figure. The first is, of course, a supply-demand mismatch. We, in India, for a population of about 360 million women total of reproductive age, there are close to 70,000 registered gynecologists. And most of these gynecologists practice in one of the 5 big metropolitan cities of India, mostly. Secondly, there is also a lot of social stigma and taboos when it comes to actually discussing and talking about sexual and reproductive health. So many of these conditions, which are very genuine in nature, are actually considered to be shameful. Women are scared that if I go to a gynecologist, will I get judged? Will I be discriminated against? Will I be given a moral lecture? Those kind of things. And of course, finally, there's also a quality concern. So there's a very, very high rate of misdiagnosis and underdiagnosis when it comes to women's health conditions, close to 42%. And so most women have either had a negative experience or just don't have access to a gynecologist. So when they have a problem, they don't go and consult a doctor. But what they end up doing today, thanks to sort of, in India, we are at a cusp of a mobile revolution. We have the cheapest 4G internet rates in the world and a rapid penetration of affordable smartphone technology in the hands of, even in rural India, younger women, right? They're leading this revolution. And so what they're doing is actually they're going online and they're searching for their symptoms. They are saying, I have a missed period, what does this mean? Or, I'm having very painful cramps, what does this mean? I'm feeling constantly tired, what does this mean? And they're actually looking to get answers to their solutions online. They're digital first. So what we realized is if women are already searching online and they are digital first, we should be able to provide them a digital first solution, which is discreet. So a chat is the best option because, so this is the solution. We are able to actually provide them an instant and affordable clinic for their sexual and reproductive health needs, where they can actually, as a default, they can just chat with a doctor. And really, that's why sort of the partnership between Pinky Promise and Turn.io is so powerful. It's because a chat is our solution. And the way that it works is you can come, you describe your symptoms in just a few minutes. You pay a small fee of just 99 rupees. All of this information is analyzed by our system, pushed to a gynecologist. The gynecologist gets not just the summary of the problem, but she also gets a suggested prescription that's been built out already, which says these are most likely the medicines that the patient needs to take. These are the concerns that she has. A good data analysis is already done. And all the doctor needs to do is verify it, ask clarifying questions and go ahead and prescribe. After which the doctor and the patient continue to stay in touch. We have built a co-pilot at the back end so that the doctor is able to provide empathetic and real-time responses to all the follow-up questions of the patient. And all of this is in just over $1. So that's why it's super affordable and convenient. The turnaround time is about 10 minutes. We've also worked on the quality of care because that's very important for us. And we've so far been able to achieve an 84% cure rate, which is 4 times industry average at Pinky Promise.
Yeah, I'm smiling because it's remarkable the work that your team has done, and just looking at these numbers and how you're making this healthcare access so much more accessible is really incredible, and we're really inspired by your use case. And actually, when I spoke to your partner Akansha last week, one of the things she said which I thought was fascinating, and I think might resonate with a couple of other people on this call, was that women prefer to chat because they're never in a space where talking out loud about their gynecological issues is appropriate, right? Maybe they're in their home, there are other people around, etc. And we were having a conversation around the different choices around voice and audio notes on WhatsApp and chat specific. And we're seeing this trend specifically on sexual and reproductive health and women's health, where and mental health as well, where the text chat component is super important for that really sensitive private engagement with health professionals. So we absolutely love your use case. You mentioned 2 things. You were part of our Gen AI accelerator as well, and you've also trained your models, and you're using AI to respond to users originally in triage space, and then as a co-pilot to doctors. And so I'd love you to talk a little bit around how you used the different combinations of AI models and why.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think because we're in healthcare, we just have to be really careful about sort of the AI that we're using. And I think that what we realized is LLMs have a fantastic use case. And then our own custom trained models have a fantastic use case. So when it comes to the core engine that actually powers Pinky Promise, it's our own custom trained models, because today, the way that it stands, when it comes to LLMs, even the best of medical LLMs, there's a little bit of an issue when it comes to hallucination. You don't get standardized responses. Whereas very often, data-driven standardized responses is kind of what we need as well when it comes to healthcare AI. So for being able to identify what are the symptoms that need to be checked for, what are the medical history aspects to sort of taken into account, then sort of what are the medications that might be applicable in this particular context, what do we know about the patient's history that we can then utilize to diagnose this person better or personalize their diagnosis, for all of those things. So the very core diagnostic engine that we've built out, that we have actually utilized the protocols of some of the world's best medical institutions, the best medical textbooks, and a lot of evidence-based work published in peer-reviewed journals that we have ourselves handpicked, ranked, rated for the South Asian genome that we are using today. Because we don't really require a language layer. We need like a deep analytic layer, which is what within a very constrained data set. So that is basically what we are using to diagnose our patients. Now, the language layer, the way that LLMs really play a huge role, and sort of why our partnership even is incredible that way, is they play a huge role in now wrapping all of this in super empathetic and super understandable text. So for 2 things we use it. The first is, we are working with Turn.io to build out a WhatsApp Gen AI bot, where if a woman actually comes onto WhatsApp and describes all her conditions in a text, right? In India, it's often multilingual, right? So she's describing her reproductive healthcare conditions often in a series of different languages, and sometimes they use euphemisms, they convey their anxiety, they convey their panic, they convey their fear, they do all these things. And LLMs can play a powerful role, and now we're using ChatGPT right now, in understanding that intent and in providing that first layer of understanding what the intent is and asking further questions in a very empathetic and customer-centric manner to understand what's going on and start diagnosing them. So that's sort of reason why we use it. And we also use it as a co-pilot. So once the intent is understood and a person is being diagnosed and questions are being asked, there's a dialogue that's happening between the doctor and the patient. In order to save on the capacity of a very small number of doctors to be able to do a lot of work, we have a co-pilot working, which is able to sort of suggest questions to the doctors and suggest responses to the doctors that the doctors are able to then edit and send forward to the patient. That suggestion mechanism, because the language is important, it needs to be de-escalating. It needs to be very, very empathetic. It needs to be kind. It needs to be judgment-free. So we use a lot of sort of LLMs play a huge role in doing that. And they are randomized control trials, and like that whole Reddit study and everything that showed that people actually prefer a GPT doctor to a real doctor when it comes to these kind of things. So we're leveraging multiple sort of models to get the best out of our what we want to do at Wikipedia. So we have doctors taking care of like thousands of patients because of this sort of system that we've built out, where we can leverage a few handpicked really good doctors to do a lot of care.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I remember conversations we were having about AI, you know, barely 3 years ago, and people were being like, AI will never be as empathetic as a real person in no ways. And now we're learning, you know, that because it has endless capacity and time and ability to translate conversations into really empathetic language, that it is having, you know, completely blowing everyone's expectations, specifically in healthcare. And these studies that are coming out, and we can share some with the community if everyone's interested in the academic papers around this. But it's fascinating to see how quickly that has changed and how wonderfully you guys are using the combination, which is really great. You also talk a lot to your users, and I know you've got a lot of feedback that has influenced the design of Pinky Promise. Can you tell us a little bit about like maybe one story from one of your users that really changed the way that you think about your work?
So I think we've had a few powerful examples. The thing that we always do, because we're a very small team, so we're actually a team of 6 people, catering to more than 150,000 women today. We make sure that we roll out things very quickly and test them really quickly in a light manner before we actually scale it up or make it into a big, you know. So even before we built an app, we had an Excel spreadsheet, and I mimicked a chatbot and spoke to women, making sure that the whole thing was completed. Then we built an app.
I love this. Divya, say that again, because I think it's so important. Divya pretended to be a chatbot.
Yes, I was a chatbot.
I think it's an amazing way to start. Amazing way to start. Sorry, continue.
I completely, I lost you for a second. I lost your question there. Sorry.
Oh, not a question. I was just saying that I love the way you started to pretend to be a chatbot. I think it's fundamentally, I think perhaps everyone should start this way to get that early user feedback. So I think it's amazing. From there, what was your process?
I think one of the biggest aha moments for us was that actually. So, you know, you talked about, Akanksha gave you this idea of why we were using chat. But we did an A/B test. We actually spoke to women randomly on call, and our doctors sort of asked them for their symptoms and medical history, and we also chatted with women randomly. We did this to more than 300 women in the beginning before we started anything out. And it was a big aha moment for us, because we thought that for personalization, for that experience, for that, you know, effect of we care for you and things like that, they may want to hear a doctor. But we realized that a chat actually is something that they prefer, because especially when it comes to sexual history, contraceptive use, those kind of things, there's a degree of facelessness when you need to chat and say the same answers. So people feel more comfortable sharing the truth about what's going on in their lives on chat. And therefore, they are more trusting of the diagnosis that comes out of a chat-based mechanism. And the fidelity rates just improve like crazy. The quality of care improves like crazy. The happiness rates improves. And so we decided this is great. Like, we don't need to build out any call infrastructure. We still have it on our app. So if anyone wants a call, or the doctor ever wants to call or video call, it's always there. And we have to have that option for the doctors especially. But we know 90% of the time people chat. And this was a big aha moment for us only after we spoke to customers and realized that, like, this is something. I think another funny incident for us was we got a very upset customer. And we had actually solved her problem and given her the prescription in just 4 minutes. She was very happy when she was describing her symptoms, and she got her prescription. So we were like, yay, this is a success. So we called her up and she was very upset. She was like, my money is wasted. You did not give me my prescription. And we said, no, we gave you the prescription. Please check it. And she was surprised because she was used to seeing terrible handwriting in a doctor's prescription, like a handwritten note. So she didn't believe that this beautiful table, which is actually from a doctor. So that was like a really funny moment for us in terms of learning from our customers. But we didn't change anything. We've kept it as a PDF only.
That's fascinating. I think you always learned a lot from your most upset customers. I think we should all phone our most upset customers. You always learn about interesting things. But we've got an amazing, as you said, international audience here today. What if there's one message or learning that you've had through this process that you think would be a great takeaway for this audience, what would it be?
So I think for us, it's actually about the usage of AI. I think that there's a lot of buzz today about everyone wanting to use AI. There's so many people who actually reach out to us on a daily basis saying, we are building this AI bot, we are building this AI system, we are using LLMs, we're doing this, we're doing that. And it's amazing. Like, I'm actually really fascinated by how much socially motivated organizations and mission-driven organizations are now using AI. But I think the one thing that I wanted to actually just something that I always tell people, and I feel like it's a little bit of a interesting cautionary note, is number one, the costs are something to be really taken into account at scale. And so sometimes it may not really make sense to have AI unless it's a core part of the offering or it significantly simplifies something. And second thing is LLMs can often be a black box. They are a black box. So unless we sort of have a clear use case, just training an LLM to do something could become a lot more expensive. I think that the example of, for example, at Karya, if you use Google for your sort of just converting a PDF and making it into an OCR version or something like that, you actually pay more than if a person had to do it. So this is just an example of how AI can actually be a lot more expensive than really sort of doing something. So it only is something to use when it makes sense. And when it comes to healthcare, like, we have to be really careful about the information that an LLM is actually being able to spit out. So something that we're working closely with Turn.io to do is to train this Gen AI bot in the best way possible so that there's a good fidelity in terms of the responses. So at Pinky Promise, we actually don't share any information with our customers without our doctor actually verifying it. And spending time verifying it, because we are still careful about what comes out of the AI. And we're going to have to do that for at least a few years before we can ever share something just like that. And I don't know if that's something we'll ever end up doing. And I think the last thing I want to say is, even at Pinky Promise, like, we knew we were going to be AI focused, because for us, given the total number of doctors that are there in India to give gynecological care and the number of patients and the quality problem, AI was obviously like a thing to sort of bridge the supply-demand mismatch and the quality mismatch. But we never started off with AI. We actually built manual data trees, which were rule-driven and rule-based, to start diagnosing people. and to send sort of suggestions and analytics to doctors before we really built an AI engine. It took us a few years to say that, okay, this is what we want to build. It took us a couple of years to build it out. And so we never built AI first. We did things manually and then we built AI. So I guess that's just sort of what I wanted to address and tell people. And I'm also, happy to be of use to anybody. If anyone wants to brainstorm sort of how to think about their tech stack, how to think about AI for good, we're always there to help.
Oh, thank you, Divya. I think those are amazing lessons, right? There's, I think it was Reid Hoffman who said, "Do what doesn't scale first in the startup." And I think you're a great example of that, to start super simple, learn a lot and iterate as you go, and then treat AI as a tool to achieve something, not an end in itself. So thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and your amazing use case with us today. We really appreciate it. I'm going to hand over to Simon now, who's going to product priority.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Divya and Pippa. That was so insightful. Great having you here. So yeah, the product update. As a team, we work really hard to make Turn better every single day, and we are very proud that that actually does result in a bunch of new features being released. And so I'm taking you through some of those that are launching this week or will be launching in the next couple of weeks. First one is already highlighted there, and that's a feature called staging, which allows you to stage a change to your journey in a testing environment and only make it available to a select group of testers before you deploy it and release it widely to your full audience. And this is a really great safety net for you to have, because we want you to be able to iterate, we want you to be able to experiment, we want you to be able to do those things in a safe and a controlled manner. Last town hall, we spoke about versioning, which meant you could keep a full version of all of the changes you made. This builds on that, and this gives you the possibility to say, well, I want to test these changes with this select group, get their feedback before I make it available to everyone else. And so you'll see that there's a new publish button there with the number of changes that have been made since the last time you published. And you can choose either to publish it, make it available to everyone, or invite a group of early testers for the new functionality that you're trying to get feedback on. So we're very excited. We're really keen to hear back from you how you will be using this in your services, and we're really hoping that this will help you to experiment and iterate faster, but with confidence on the services that you run on Turn. The next one is AI translations. And this is the other thing that we're launching this week. And it's bidirectional translation inside the help desk. So people may be talking to you in Bengali. I don't speak Bengali, but I do speak English. Now I'm able to receive the message, have it translated for me, show the original and the translation, and I'm able to reply in English, but have the reply go back out in Bengali again. And we are really excited about this feature because it really enables the types of teams, like we were listening to Pinky Promise earlier, where they're a team of 6 talking to hundreds of thousands of people. Now, a team of 6 will not speak all of the languages for all the markets that they're active in. But a feature like this does open up those possibilities of just really making services universally accessible. So we're very excited about this one and the ability to have two-way conversations across language barriers. The next one, and that's coming soon, is the ability to integrate Meta's large language models called Llama. This is a feature that has been highly requested. We already added support for OpenAI assistants, and this is now extending that support to Meta Llama for similar functionality. So if for whatever reason you are more interested in using Llama for your specific use case, soon you'll be able to integrate this into your service. This feature and the last feature I must mention are enterprise features that we are launching within the enterprise plan initially. But we're very, very excited about this one. The next one is multiple assistants. Everyone already has access to assistants within the Turn product right now. The enterprise feature we're adding here is the ability to create multiple assistants and have different assistants take on different roles and say personalities or different tasks within your journeys. And so we've recognized that assistants are great, but they're really great given the context and the documents and everything that you make available to them for specific tasks. The broader the task set becomes, the less efficient sometimes these assistants become. And so the ability to create multiple assistants, each with their own set of tasks and skills and responsibilities, really helps you to design your journeys for specific use cases and dial in a specific assistant as you need it. And so this is coming soon. Very excited about this. This builds on top of the OpenAI assistant that we already have and the Meta Llama assistant that is launching. Very, very excited about this change. The next two are more technical ones. What we've launched is the Journeys API, and this has been highly requested by enterprise customers. Often, enterprises will have a full release pipeline. All of their journeys will be vetted. They'll be checked by copywriters, by service designers. They'll be signed off. And then there's a pipeline that publishes it all straight to Turn and has it go live. Now, often those pipelines are automated fully so that someone can press a button somewhere and say, this is the latest version. And all of these journeys now need to go to Turn and be ready and available to our customers. The Journeys API allows you to do that in a fully automated fashion. So for technical teams looking to create a fully automated end-to-end deployment of their journeys, this is now possible. This has been highly requested and something we've been working hard on the last quarter. The last one that I want to highlight is what we're calling the Channels API. Another one that's been probably on our backlog for probably over a year, if not longer, maybe 2-3 years. But an often requested feature is WhatsApp is great, but it's not the only channel that our audience is on. There are other people that we want to serve and reach that aren't on WhatsApp for whatever reason. How do we talk to them and how do we include them in the service that we've built? Now, the Channels API allows you to start doing that and thinking that. And again, this is an enterprise feature. This requires a technical integration to be done, but it does allow you to launch your services on other platforms that are not WhatsApp. So you can start thinking, for example, around Telegram, which is an often requested one, or possibly Signal. Certain scenarios, some customers we know are using SMS and USSD to do this. But you can also look at more local channels. In South Africa, Moya Messenger is an obvious candidate, for example. Or some customers already have a deployed app on mobile phone that has a chat component, and you can start looking at how do you connect that straight back into Turn, design all your journeys on Turn, but have them surfaced in your app on your phone. All of these possibilities now open up with the Channels API. So this is still very early days. If you are interested in this or you would like more information, please do reach out to us and we'd love to chat to you a little bit more. But that's it from the product updates. And with that, I am handing over to Pippa. Thank you.
I think that is it. Thanks so much, Simon. Even I'm excited about trying to speak Bengali through the help desk. So thanks so much for sharing those features. And I think that's a wrap for us today. I hope you guys found a lot of value in hearing not only the updates from the WhatsApp Business Summit, but a big thank you to Divya for joining us and sharing all of the insights that they've had at Pinky Promise, both doing really technical things around using different AI models, but also learning and being scruffy from the beginning and pretending to be a chatbot. I think that's one of my favorite stories to date. So I highly encourage all of you that are just starting out or starting out with a new feature, pretend to be a robot and you'll learn a lot about what your users value, and you can iterate in real time, which is probably the best part of pretending to be a chatbot. So a big thank you to Divya. And again, as she mentioned, she's happy to share more of her learnings if any of you are interested. But as always, we'll share more and more every time we see you. And that's a wrap for today, but see you in October. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.